All right, so let's dive into something pretty mind-blowing. A potential future where clean and limitless energy isn't just something you see in sci-fi,
Mhm.
but it's actually our reality. And we've all heard about this idea of an artificial sun, right? Oh, it's not just a cool name. China's East Reactor, officially the experimental advanced superconducting tokamak. It's making incredible strides towards replicating the sun's power, but here on Earth. And what's got everyone buzzing is that East recently did something record-breaking. It maintained super hot plasma for over 17 minutes. I mean, that's longer than most people spend on their morning commute.
Yeah, what's really remarkable about this achievement is it brings us so much closer to harnessing this immense
Hmm.
power of nuclear fusion, a process that could completely revolutionize how we generate energy.
Okay, so we're talking about nuclear fusion here, not to be confused with nuclear fission, which is what powers our current nuclear plants. So what's the difference? And why is fusion considered like the holy grail of clean energy?
Great question. So, nuclear fission that involves splitting heavy atoms, like uranium, which does release energy, but it also generates that long-lived radioactive waste. Fusion, on the other hand, it combines lighter atoms, typically isotopes of hydrogen, to form helium. And this process releases even more energy than fission, but without those same radioactive byproducts. And because hydrogen is like the most abundant element in the universe, we're talking about a virtually inexhaustible fuel source.
So it's clean, it's powerful, it's readily available. It almost sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are some pretty big hurdles to overcome. I mean, if it were easy, we'd already have fusion power plants, all over the place.
Oh, exactly. And one of the biggest challenges is the sheer scale of the heat and pressure required. To achieve fusion, you need to heat hydrogen gas to temperatures exceeding 100 million degrees Celsius. That's 7 times hotter than the sun's core.
Wow, that's mind-boggling. And then you have to contain this superheated matter, which I believe is called plasma.
Right, and plasma is a whole other beast. It's not a solid, a liquid, or a gas. It's a fourth state of matter. Imagine trying to hold lightning in your hand. That's kind of what it's like to contain plasma. It's so unstable, and the slightest disturbance can cause it to lose energy and collapse. And that stops the fusion reaction.
Okay, so we have this incredibly hot, wildly unpredictable plasma
Yeah.
that we need to contain. How on earth are scientists tackling this challenge?
That's where the tokamak comes in. East, for example, is a tokamak reactor, which is essentially a donut-shaped chamber designed specifically for fusion experiments.
So the tokamak is the container for our unruly plasma.
Precisely. But it's not just a container. Tokamaks are equipped with incredibly powerful magnets that create a magnetic field, and that effectively traps the plasma in a swirling vortex.
Within the chamber.
I see. So those magnets are crucial for preventing the plasma
Yeah.
from touching the walls of the reactor.
Exactly. If the plasma touches the walls, it cools down rapidly, and the fusion reaction stops. So East's recent achievement of maintaining plasma for 17 minutes, is that a huge step towards sustaining these reactions for longer periods?
Absolutely. And it's not just about duration. The quality of the plasma confinement, its density and temperature, that also matters. East's record suggests we're getting closer to the conditions needed for continuous fusion reactions, the key to generating usable energy on a large scale.
Now, you mentioned that East isn't the only game in town. There are other fusion projects happening around the world, right?
Absolutely. One of the most prominent is ITER, the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. It's being built in France. It's a massive international collaboration, and it's designed to be even more powerful than East. It's aiming to produce 10 times the energy it consumes.
Wow, 10 times.
Oh.
That's a significant leap. So ITER is building upon the knowledge and expertise gained from projects like East.
Exactly. It's a truly global effort. Data from East's successes are being shared and incorporated into ITER's design and operational plans. And they're not just relying on one approach. There are other projects, like the National Ignition Facility, or NIF in the US, that are experimenting with different methods, like using lasers to achieve fusion.
It's fascinating that there are multiple paths being explored, and they're all making progress in their own ways. This is what makes this field so exciting. But with all this talk about extreme temperatures and controlling unruly plasma, I'm curious about something else. The materials used to build these reactors. I mean, how do they withstand those incredibly high temperatures?
That's where material science takes center stage. Developing materials that can endure the intense heat and radiation of a fusion reaction is one of the biggest hurdles we face. We need materials that won't melt, crack, or become brittle under such extreme conditions.
I can imagine. What kind of materials are we talking about? Is there like a magic metal that can withstand the heat of a miniature sun?
Well, there's no magic bullet, But there are materials with incredibly high melting points that are showing great promise. Take tungsten, for example. It's used in East's reactor walls because it has an extremely high melting point, over 3,400 degrees Celsius.
So it's a constant race to find and develop materials that can keep pace with the extreme demands of fusion research. It's like pushing the boundaries of material science itself.
Absolutely. And it's an area where even small advancements can have a huge impact on the progress of fusion energy. Imagine creating a material that can withstand even higher temperatures or resist radiation damage more effectively. That could be a game changer.
It's amazing to think how many different fields of science are coming together to make fusion a reality. We've talked about physics, engineering, material science, but it seems like this effort also involves cutting-edge technologies, like
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, right?
You're right. AI is playing an increasingly important role in fusion research, particularly in controlling the incredibly complex and often unpredictable behavior of plasma.
Wait, AI in fusion research. That sounds fascinating.
Mhm.
Tell me more. How is AI being used?
Think of it this way. Controlling plasma is like trying to predict and manage a chaotic storm, and that's where AI excels. By analyzing real-time data from the reactor, AI algorithms can learn to predict and potentially even mitigate plasma instabilities.
So AI is helping to make these reactors safer and more efficient.
Exactly. It's a remarkable application of AI, and it's not just a theoretical concept. Companies like Google have partnered with Fusion Labs to develop advanced AI systems for this very purpose.
Wow, that's incredible. I had no idea AI was playing such a crucial role in fusion research. But with all this technological advancement, let's zoom out for a moment and talk about what this all means for the average person. Why should someone who isn't a scientist or an engineer care about these advancements in fusion energy?
This is where it gets really exciting. Fusion energy has the potential to transform our world in profound ways. Imagine a future with abundant, clean, and cheap energy. It could revolutionize industries, from transportation to manufacturing. It could provide access to electricity for billions of people who currently lack it, lifting them out of poverty and empowering entire communities.
That's a powerful vision. A future where clean energy is available to everyone. It could truly change the course of human history.
And most importantly, fusion energy could be a major solution to the climate crisis. By providing a sustainable alternative to fossil fuels, it could help us mitigate the devastating effects of climate change.
It's a future worth striving for, isn't it? A world where clean energy is readily available and accessible to all. And to think all of this is rooted in the incredible science we've been discussing today.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and the power of scientific collaboration.
Speaking of collaboration, it's remarkable that so many countries are working together on projects like ITER. This global effort to achieve fusion energy is a testament to the understanding that climate change and the need for sustainable energy are challenges that affect us all, regardless of borders.
It is. And this kind of global cooperation on such a complex and ambitious project should give us hope if we can come together to tackle a challenge. As monumental as harnessing the power of the stars, imagine what else we might be able to achieve through collaboration.
It's an inspiring thought. So before we move on, let's take a moment to recap what we've learned so far. We've talked about the basics of nuclear fusion, the incredible challenges of containing superhot plasma, the remarkable role of tokamaks and powerful magnets, and the global effort to achieve fusion energy through projects like ITER and NIF. We've also touched on the fascinating world of materials science and the increasing role of AI in fusion research.
And we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore about this incredible field.
Exactly. And that's what we'll be diving into next. We'll delve deeper into the fascinating science behind the fuel that powers fusion reactions. And we'll explore the timeline for when we might realistically expect fusion power to become a part of our everyday lives. So stay tuned, because the journey into the heart of the artificial sun is just getting started.
It's amazing to think that we might be on the cusp of solving one of humanity's greatest challenges: clean, limitless energy. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at what actually fuels these fusion reactions. It's not your typical gasoline or coal, is it?
Not quite. We've been talking about hydrogen, but not just any hydrogen. It's a specific type called isotopes, right? Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely. Isotopes are essentially variations of an element. They have the same number of protons, which defines the element, but a different number of neutrons. Think of it like siblings. They share the same family name, but have distinct personalities.
Okay, that's a helpful analogy. So what are the special siblings of hydrogen? That power fusion reaction.
The stars of the show are deuterium and tritium. Deuterium is a hydrogen isotope found abundantly in seawater. Just imagine, our oceans could become the fuel source for a new era of energy.
Wow, so we're talking about a practically limitless fuel supply. What about tritium? Is that as readily available?
Tritium is a bit rarer, but here's where things get really interesting. It can actually be produced during the fusion reaction itself. It's like a self-replenishing fuel source.
Wait, so the fuel can actually generate more fuel. That's mind-blowing. No wonder fusion is considered such a game changer.
Exactly. And unlike fossil fuels, fusion doesn't produce greenhouse gases or long-lived radioactive waste. We're talking about a clean, sustainable energy source that could power our planet for generations to come.
It sounds almost too good to be true. But you mentioned earlier that there are still challenges to overcome. What are some of the biggest hurdles standing between us and a fusion-powered future?
Well, as with any groundbreaking technology, there are technical and logistical hurdles. One of the key challenges is achieving a sustained reaction where the energy output consistently exceeds the energy input. We made significant progress, but we're not quite there yet on a commercial scale.
So we need to improve the efficiency of the fusion process itself.
Precisely. We need to reach a point where we can reliably create more energy than we put in. Think of it like a campfire. You need to add kindling and keep it burning before you get a roaring fire. We're still in the kindling adding stage with fusion.
Okay, so efficiency is a big one. What other challenges are there?
Another significant hurdle is the cost. Building and operating fusion reactors is a complex and expensive undertaking. The materials alone, like the tungsten you mentioned earlier, are costly and require specialized manufacturing processes. And then there's the technology needed to control the plasma and maintain the extreme temperatures. We're talking about cutting-edge science and engineering, which doesn't come cheap.
So it's a balancing act between pushing the boundaries of science and finding ways to make the technology affordable and accessible.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The potential rewards are so enormous that the investment is absolutely worth it. Imagine a world where we no longer rely on fossil fuels, where we can generate clean energy without polluting our planet or depleting our natural resources. That's the future we're working towards.
It's a future that's hard not to get excited about. But I'm curious about the timeline. We've seen incredible progress. But when can we realistically expect fusion power to become a part of our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's difficult to give a precise date. The scientific and engineering challenges are significant, but the progress we've seen in recent years is incredibly encouraging. Some experts believe we could see commercial fusion power plants within the next few decades.
Wow, that's sooner than I would imagine. So it's not just a distant dream for our grandchildren. It could be a reality within our lifetime. That's incredibly exciting.
It is, and it's a testament to the incredible work being done by scientists and engineers around the world. The collaboration, innovation, and sheer determination are truly inspiring.
It feels like we're on the verge of a new era, a turning point in human history.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the world of fusion, I want to shift our focus a bit. We've talked a lot about the technical aspects, but what about the bigger picture? What does the pursuit of fusion energy tell us about ourselves as a species?
That's a profound question, and I think it speaks to our inherent desire to push the boundaries of what's possible. Throughout history, humans have sought to harness the power of nature, from fire to electricity. Fusion energy is the next frontier, the ultimate challenge in our quest to control the forces of the universe.
Like we're reaching for the stars, literally.
And it's not just about the pursuit of knowledge or technological advancement. It's about our survival as a species. Climate change is a real and present threat, and fusion energy offers a potential solution, a path towards a sustainable future.
It's a reminder that our actions have consequences, but also that we have the power to change course, to innovate, to create a better world for ourselves and future generations.
Exactly. The pursuit of fusion energy is a testament to our ingenuity, our resilience, and our collective will to create a brighter future.
It's a story of human ambition, scientific exploration, and the unwavering belief that we can overcome even the most daunting challenges.
And it's a story that's still being written. Each breakthrough, each experiment brings us closer to a world powered by clean, sustainable fusion energy.
And on that note, we'll pause our deep dive here for now, but stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll explore the potential impact of fusion energy on our world, from transforming industries to addressing climate change. We'll also delve into the ethical considerations and the potential risks and challenges that come with this powerful new technology.
Yeah.
We've covered so much ground in our deep dive into fusion energy, from the science behind it to the global race to make it a reality.
Yeah.
But let's sit back for a second and think about the bigger picture. What could a fusion-powered world actually look like?
It's a fascinating question, and one that really sparks the imagination. The potential impact of fusion energy on our world is immense, touching everything from how we power our homes to how we address global challenges like climate change.
So let's start with the everyday stuff. How would fusion energy change our lives on a practical level?
We'll imagine a world where energy is abundant, clean, and affordable. Your electricity bill could become a fraction of what it is today. Electric cars would be even more appealing, knowing they're powered by a sustainable source. And industries that rely heavily on energy, like manufacturing and transportation, could become significantly more efficient and environmentally friendly.
It's like a domino effect. Clean energy rippling through every aspect of our lives, making things cheaper, cleaner, and more sustainable.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual benefits. Fusion energy has the potential to address global issues, like poverty and inequality. Access to reliable and affordable energy is essential. For economic development, education, and healthcare, fusion could be a game changer for developing countries, empowering communities and lifting millions out of poverty.
It's amazing to think that a scientific breakthrough could have such a profound impact on social and economic justice around the world. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, climate change. We know that fusion energy is often hailed as a potential solution to this global crisis. But how exactly would it help?
Fusion reactions don't produce greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide, which are the primary drivers of climate change. So by shifting to a fusion-based energy system, we could drastically reduce our carbon footprint and mitigate the devastating effects of global warming. Imagine a world where our energy production no longer contributes to rising sea levels, extreme weather events, or the destruction of ecosystems. That's the promise of fusion energy.
It's a powerful vision, and one that gives me hope for the future. But whenever we talk about new technologies, especially ones as powerful as fusion, it's important to consider the potential risks and challenges. What are some of the things we need to be mindful of as we move forward with fusion research and development?
That's a crucial point. While fusion energy offers incredible potential, it's not a silver bullet. And there are important considerations to address. For instance, we need to ensure the safe handling and disposal of radioactive materials used in the fusion process, even though they are much less problematic than those from fission.
So safety and waste management are key concerns, just as they are with current nuclear technology. What else should we be thinking about?
Another challenge is the potential for misuse. The energy released from fusion reactions is immense, and it's essential to have robust international safeguards in place. To prevent the technology from being weaponized, we need to ensure that fusion energy is used for peaceful purposes, for the benefit of humanity, not for destruction.
So responsible development and international cooperation are crucial aspects of the fusion journey. We need to approach this technology with foresight and caution, ensuring that its benefits are shared equitably and that its potential risks are carefully managed.
Absolutely. Fusion energy has the potential to be a transformative force for good in the world, but we need to proceed thoughtfully, ethically, and collaboratively to ensure that its development and deployment benefit all of humanity.
It's a reminder that scientific progress must go hand in hand with ethical considerations and a commitment to global cooperation. We can't simply focus on the how of fusion. We also need to carefully consider the why and the for whom.
Well said. The quest for fusion energy isn't just a scientific endeavor, it's a human endeavor, one that requires us to bring our best selves to the table. Our ingenuity, our compassion, and our shared commitment to a brighter future.
On that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of artificial suns and the quest for fusion energy. It's been an incredible journey, filled with scientific wonder, technological marvels, and thought-provoking questions about the future of our planet and our species.
It has indeed. I hope our listeners are walking away with a sense of awe at the incredible ingenuity of scientists and engineers around the world, a sense of hope for a cleaner and more sustainable future, and a sense of responsibility to engage in thoughtful dialogue about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
To our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring, questioning, and engaging in conversations about fusion energy and its potential to shape our world. The future is in our hands, And it's up to all of us to create a world where clean, limitless energy becomes a reality for all.